In today's time, safety remains at the forefront of anything we humans set out to build or do, especially when it comes to our relationship with speed. Apart from being one of the largest automobile markets, India also happens to be on the top when it comes to road-related accidents. Despite countless efforts by our government and other organizations, our death toll still remains relatively high. At some point, we could argue that it's down to poor infrastructure, but that's not the case anymore. With more and more manufacturers edging towards safety and building safer automobiles, I suppose the fault could lie in the lack of awareness. But do most common folk ever wonder about these subtle safety nets at play as they're up and about commuting along their day? We at BBC Top Gear India have decided to head out and meet some fellow drivers and commuters in hopes to share wisdom and awareness about these crucial safety features. As part of Hyundai's Be the Better Guy campaign, we will ask some common folk some elementary questions about road safety and see just how much these civilians know and practice being the better guy. So Banti, I'm just going to ask you a few basic questions to gauge how much experience and information you may have about the subject, about road safety and awareness about it. So first question, do you know what airbags are for?
I do know what an airbag is and what it does. They look a lot like these very balloony pillows, and per my understanding, its function is to break the impact or at least soften the blow of if your car crashes and you're like literally lunged ahead. So it sort of cushions you and ensures that you don't just sort of jump out of the screen.
Right, that's good.
So the purpose of an airbag is in an unfortunate event of a crash. It's supposed to protect the driver as well as the occupants inside the car in a way where it dampens or softens the impact of the person with the front.
So I think the main purpose of an airbag is at the time of collision, it gives you a nice protection against any severe injuries. So it's better, to land on a soft cushion, an air cushion, rather than banging your head on a steering wheel.
I see.
So yeah, that is the main purpose of an airbag.
Okay.
So I believe airbag is the most important safety aspect, one of the most important safety aspect in a car, because first of all, in terms of any crash, it's going to save your life. That's the
Right.
most important, feature of a car.
Right.
And I think, when it comes to safety, when you're driving by yourself, driving with your family, you would want to have a car which is full of airbags.
Yeah.
So if there's a crash, you have that softness and you don't get that instant panic thing, and you
Yeah.
don't end up crashing to the main frame of the car.
That's
So airbag plays a very important role.
So I think airbags are important because they save you from crashes. They save you from hitting other parts of the car, so that your body is safe inside the car. And also like seatbelts are very important.
do you think a speed limit is essential?
In my opinion, I think if used correctly, speed limits are helpful. The way I see it, in a locality such as this, which is a residential area, or if you have localities with schools around, a speed limit would help because it would ensure that cars are just not mindlessly racing. But then again, it has to be implemented well, because sometimes it can create like a bottleneck or like an unnecessary slowdown of traffic.
So I think there has to be some roads, okay? Like if there are cars who could, which could accelerate on say above 200 or 250, and if there are speed limits, I mean the whole purpose of designing that car is to enjoy that car, right?
Right.
So if there won't be roads like these, then how will somebody enjoy the entire feel of the car? So I think speed limits are necessary, but in restricted areas. But there should be some places around where there aren't any speed limits.
I'm not really sure about it, because it totally, first of all, depends on how good the roads are and how we drive.
Right.
I mean, in this new age era, you would see cars going beyond 400 kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
That's the era that we are living at.
Yeah.
So if you tell me to drive in a speed limit, that's kind of, I'm not really sure about it. But unless and until we are very much, aware about the road safety and stuff like that, I mean, why not? We can speed them up as well.
So I think speed limits are essential because people tend to go over speed, in smaller lanes, or like when there's a lot of traffic. I think speed limits are very important for those reasons, because people shouldn't cross a certain limit. You never know what's on the road. Anything might come in front of you, and might not be able to control it. So a certain area having a speed limit is very important.
What is a blind spot?
So the way I see and understand a blind spot is that if you have a realm of vision, and be it whether you're driving or not, if there is a spot that falls ekdam to your periphery and is important to you but you still cannot gauge it, that space becomes your blind spot.
Yeah, that's correct.
A blind spot is something I believe like a space where you are not able to see.
Right.
For which in a car we have got the mirrors
Right.
to cover the blind spots.
Right.
So, according to me, a blind spot is, there's something in between your front view and your A pillar and your right view. So the A pillar, that entire area is blocked. You cannot see, across that. So you need to move yourself while driving, to avoid the blind spot. That whole area where you cannot see, that is called a blind spot according to me.
Okay. Cool.
So blind spots are basically anything which is not visible to a driver when he's driving the car, so which is not in his focus.
Right.
So when I'm driving straight, I'm looking straight. And anything which is not visible to my eyesight at that point of time is my blind spot.
Blind spots in a car is basically where, because of the frame of the car, you cannot see what's passing you by, or where you can't see who's coming from the side, like left side or right side. It's a blind spot. Basically.
Or from your mirrors.
Yeah, from your mirrors.
Okay. Do you think it's important to have good tires?
Yes, it's definitely important. I'd say first of all, it helps with the braking. So the better the tires are, the lesser distance the car's gonna take to stop as soon as you hit the brakes. And secondly, is because of the tread patterns also. A good tread pattern would give you a good grip in the wet.
Yeah.
And also, like, tires have different uses. For example, you need slightly knobbier tires or a different tread for a bad road condition. Maybe a better tire with like less treads on it for a nice smooth tarmac for that matter. So yeah, I think tires do play a very important role in the safety of a car or any vehicle for that matter.
Do you personally use seatbelts in the back seat, or do you think it's important to have seatbelts in the back seat?
Yes, I do use seatbelts in the back seat. Firstly, I think it's important for the back seat occupants. It's as important for the back seat occupants to use a seatbelt as much as the front seat occupant should. Because, if unfortunately the car does crash, the back occupants are as much likely to have an injury as much as the people in the front. So it's quite important. And besides, now since you're sitting in the front, when you know an accident is going to happen, when you see it in front of you, you usually brace for impact.
Yeah.
But it's not the case for the people sitting at the back.
Yeah.
They really do not know what's going to happen in the
Yeah,
front.
that's true.
So that's why I'd say it's a lot more important for the people at the back to wear a seatbelt as much as it is for the people in the front.
So I think seatbelts are very important, and I think having a seatbelt at the rear seat is very important, because if in a car crash, the passenger in the back could actually collide into the seat in the front and or the other parts of the car. And most of the cars have a seatbelt now, and that's very important.
So do you personally use seatbelts in the back?
I don't use, personally I haven't used seatbelts yet,
Okay.
but because I'm mostly driving, I'm
Right.
in the front seat. So, but I think it's very important for people to wear a seatbelt.
So you would wear a seatbelt?
Yeah,
if
I
you
would
were sitting
definitely
in-
wear a seatbelt,
Okay.
since all cars have it now.
All right, that's good. That's good. What is the use of an indicator?
As from the word, you can guess that an indicator is to indicate the person, like which side of the road you're going to, or
Okay, what is the purpose behind a three-pointed seatbelt?
the seat belt is to protect you from any impact in case of any impact.
Right.
It helps the driver and the passenger to not get smashed in the windshield of the car.
Right. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for your time, Abhijit. It's very nice to
Thank
see
you,
that you're well informed. All right. Take care and drive safe. All right, Ishan, you're clearly very well informed, and thank you so much for your time. And it was very nice talking to
It
you.
was very nice talking to you.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Raj. You're clearly very
You're most
aware
welcome.
about these subjects, and it was
Yeah.
lovely talking to you.
Same here.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much, Gaurav.
Yep.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time, Prithvi. It was really lovely talking to you, and I hope you have a lovely day and safe driving. Thank you so much for your time, Meg, and you clearly know what you're talking about, and you're quite informed about these subjects. It's very nice to see, and thank you for,
My pleasure.
thank you for giving us your time. Yeah. Thank you so much for your time, Abanti, and so
It
glad
was
to see
my
that you've been paying attention in class and learning about things. So, thank you so much, and
Thank
keep
you,
driving
take
safe.
care.
After spending the day talking to these individuals about road safety, as it turns out, people are quite well informed about current safety techs and initiatives by the government and organizations towards making our roads a safer place. As always, it's very refreshing to see these people take driving very seriously and do their part at being the better guy. Thank you for watching, and be sure to stick around for more such videos.